It's easy to take things for granted and even harbour some hostility when something becomes as utterly dominant as Steam. Just look at the New Zealand All Blacks, Lewis Hamilton or fidget spinners. But the fact is, Valve's ubiquitous digital distribution platform is a pretty good way to play games. And as it happens, to do a bunch of other exciting things you probably weren't aware of. Here are 9 cool things you didn't know Steam could do. Our first entry is one that some people have devoted entire harebrained business schemes to, while others have remained completely unaware. You can sell your stuff on Steam. Not just anything though, I'm afraid the Farscape box set will have to go back in the loft because we're talking specifically about in-game cosmetic items and trading cards. You've probably noticed the green envelope icon that appears in the top right of Steam after you've played a game. Sometimes this means the game you were playing just dropped trading cards into your inventory. This happens at intervals during playtime, and collecting the full set of cards allows you to customize your profile, which is pretty cool. But if you'd rather pad your Steam wallet instead, simply head to your inventory, select the trading cards, and set a price at which you'd like to sell them. There's even a price ticker showing recent sale values, so you can feel like a Wall Street big shot while you sell your Agents of Mayhem cards for 9 cents. Items from PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Team Fortress 2, Dota 2 and several others are available to sell as well. Just click their tab in your inventory screen and trade spiky boots for actual money. Be aware that it's strictly Steam Wallet money though, and it can't be crashed out of the platform by any legitimate means. Gabe is always watching. Ever wonder why your games are downloading so slowly? Well, firstly, it's probably because your next door neighbours are stealing your Wi-Fi. Password 1 is not a tough code to crack. Secondly, you might be experiencing slower than usual download speeds because a particular game's just released and all the world's trying to download it at once. Hell is other people, and other people apparently play games too, but there is something you can do which might boost your speeds. In the Downloads area of Steam settings, there's a drop-down menu which lets you change your download region, and clever use of it can unlock quicker speeds. The real kicker here is that Steam used to display exactly which of its many servers were under the highest load, so you could select an underused region with precision. But now all you have to do is go to this download stats page. The peaks and troughs of its graphs are different regions going to sleep and freeing up server bandwidth. Obviously, download regions further away from you will negatively impact speed, so the trick here is picking a region that's not too far away but might not have so many people hammering it. In southern England, for example, I've sometimes found higher speeds by changing the region from London to Manchester, Ireland or even Finland because I basically live in the Shire. So if you're sitting in Helsinki watching CSGO download at 10 kilobytes a second, you have my sincere apologies. By default, Steam likes to tuck away all your installed games in one place within your program files folder. But are you just going to sit there and take that? Let a distribution platform tell you how to arrange your data? Never. Especially not with 3 gigs left on your SSD. So here's a quick fix. Head to the Downloads tab within the settings menu we visited but moments ago and click on Steam Library Folders. In here, you'll not only be able to change where games are installed to by default, but create multiple folders on different drives if you're short of space. It only allows one Steam game library per drive though, which is, let's just say it's interesting and leave it at that. Oh, and if you already have hundreds of gigs of games sitting on one drive and you want to move it without having to download it all over again, you can create a new Steam library location in here and cut and paste the files across to a new location. And if you just want to shift individual games, you can use Steam's handy ability to move the install folders. Just right-click on the game, choose Properties, Local Files, then Move Install Folder. Easy. Look, sometimes game development just doesn't work out as planned. We get that, it's fine. But there are only so many times you can be seduced by the fanciful words of an early access survival game developer, only so many hours spent running along a foggy road in your underpants before passing out in an industrial estate, before something deep inside your brain snaps and suddenly you start Googling your consumer rights. The good news is that yes, those consumer rights do extend to you asking Steam for your money back after purchasing a game, and you don't even need to write a letter to anyone important. If you have less than 2 hours logged in a game and you're within 14 days of purchase, it's very likely you'll get your money back without any hassle. Just go to Steam Support in the drop-down help menu and find Purchases. That's right, it's now time to browse your entire sordid history of impulse control lapses and summer sale binges. Anyway, just find the game you'd like to refund and select, you guessed it, the refund option. There's even a little box to enter a sob story to strengthen your case if you're that way inclined. Family sharing is one of Steam's most exciting features and perhaps the most misunderstood. Here's how it works. Go to that settings menu we've made fast friends with in this video already and head to Family. You see that little tick box, the one that says Authorize Library Sharing on this computer? That's your ticket to sharing your library of games with someone else and vice versa. However, it's not the destination. You'll also need to have your friend or family member log in on your machine for their library to appear. If you both tick each other's accounts as eligible for sharing, you can both have access to each other's games, you dangerous anti-capitalists you. But of course there are some provisos. You can't both play games from the same library at once, and you can't buy DLC for a game you don't own. And if your friend gets caught aimbotting in Battlegrounds using your library, you are heading straight to prison. Sorry, no, I read that wrong actually, it's just a VAC ban. Yeah, just a VAC ban. Hand on heart, I didn't know about this one myself until I started digging around, meeting informants in dive bars, tapping phones, and perhaps most pertinently, Googling Steam features. You can install and uninstall multiple titles at once with a simple press of the control key. Just hold it down and select multiple games in your library and you can manage them all at once. Control key, you've helped us through ventilation shafts, you've kept our footsteps quiet. Thank you for everything, you prince of keys. Anyway, that's it really. If you fancy playing a bit of Quake and think to hell with it, let's install all those expansions, sequels and spin-offs I bought for $5 in 2010 and never touched, you can scratch that itch in one fell swoop. Do you want Steam to handle your FPS overlay duties instead of any other program? Gabe has got your back. Not many people use it, but there's an option tucked away in Steam's in-game settings that'll let you choose which corner of the frame the counter sits in and whether it displays in high visibility green or inoffensive white. Our extensive tests down at the lab revealed little discernible difference between Steam's reporting of frames per second and shadow plays, but Steam takes up marginally less room. So if you frequently play games in which the top left of the screen has something interesting in it, we just made your day. And if the unthinkable happens and it dips below 60, it's a little bit less embarrassing for being smaller. When the first version of Steam launched in 2003, it came in a utilitarian green camo, and you had to write a letter to Valve whenever you wanted to install a patch for Counter-Strike. Times have changed a great deal since then, but Steam's appearance hasn't. Okay, it's black, it has a much friendlier storefront, all kinds of clever integration, but it's hardly like looking at a Kadinsky, is it? Here's how to change all that. The interface tab within your friend and ours, the settings menu, has a drop-down menu which asks you which skin you'd like to use. Chances are there are no options in that drop-down menu. However, if you download a skin, drop it into the skins folder of your Steam installation location, and then look again, like magic, new visual options appear. And obviously the first thing we did, upon realising this was possible, was to make Steam look like it did in 2003 again. But there are plenty of non-green, non-2003 skins out there though. Is your Steam friends list full of people you played TF2 with twice in 2008 and have since entirely forgotten about? Is it perhaps populated by annoying would-be streamer types who are constantly changing their handles in line with the next Twitch venture? Well, here's a quick way to keep track of who your contacts actually are, or if you're weak and pathetic like me, bring them down a peg or two by doling out insults they'll never read. Simply navigate to their profile page and choose Add Nickname under the More options, or just select it by clicking the drop-down menu by their name in the Friends window. There will never be any further confusion as to who's messaging you ever again. So there you go, 9 cool things you didn't know Steam could do. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to Logitech G for more weekly features. Thank you very much for watching.